Wall Street IO, the #1 backtesting platform for swing traders, and I have some excellent news for all of you Apple investors out there. We had a tremendous gap up on earnings, and the stock continued to run. We had two of the biggest days I've seen in a long time, just about as big as this day back here, which is when our good friend Warren Buffett came out and was like, I just bought a ton of Apple stock. Had a nice little climb there, of course, back in May. This time was kind of interesting because earnings came out, and of course it was a good call, but a couple highlights for you that I think are important I want to cover for you today, as well as the technical analysis for the stock and kind of what I think to look for this week. A couple highlights for earnings is the company beat, but more importantly, they actually raised their guidance for the next quarter. And in my opinion, whenever a company raises guidance, it's one of the most bullish things any company could do. It's basically like saying, hey everybody, I know we all said that we thought we were going to make this much next quarter, but now it looks like we're actually doing better and we're going to make even more. Like, that's the best thing investors can hear. A couple big highlights that I mentioned over the last couple of weeks as things to look for: an increase in growth from their services revenue, which is what they had. I believe I saw a 50% year-over-year growth from iCloud revenue. It's kind of interesting. It almost appears like we're in the age of subscription businesses. I mean, Netflix growing huge based off of a subscription. Adobe has been growing a ton based off switching their Photoshop to a subscription. Even I go on YouTube, and YouTube's now trying to charge me $12 a month for ad-free YouTube viewing. Apple has all these new subscriptions. They're going to only sell so many iPhones. They can either try and sell the iPhones for more, which is what they've done with their average sale price increasing with the iPhone X. But what they could also do is they can sell you more subscriptions once you have an iPhone. And that segment of Apple is still really growing. And that was really cool and exciting to see, because as I've posted over the last couple of weeks, there's a little concern about slowing growth in a lot of tech companies. Specifically, Facebook was a big one. And Facebook actually downgraded their own guidance. Apple, on the other hand, did the opposite. They upgraded their guidance. And again, that's one of the best things a company can do. Okay, so the big thing about that is it's important to change your mind when you have new information. And I think that's important because you can't ever get stuck on one mindset. Okay, so kind of coming into the announcement, I was pretty cautious, but it doesn't mean that like I hate Apple or I think it's going to go down. I was just cautious based on the analysis. Once earnings came out and they said, hey everybody, we're still growing, we still have this growth, and we think we're actually going to raise guidance for next quarter, we had a really, really good pop. And I think we need to take that into consideration. So a couple things here to consider. Let me go ahead and pull up that monthly chart, remember, that we were looking at over the last couple weeks. Here's that monthly chart again, and guess what? It looks like we're now actually breaking out. This hasn't happened like ever in the last 10 years. We're actually breaking up and out of the monthly chart. So I think now this area around 195 is like the new support for us. As long as we could stay above there, I think we actually are sideways up. Okay, so this gap here is going to provide support. Now, the 210 area is, I think, probably where we're headed next. We may even do a little quick punch up to 212 or so, but we may see some consolidation here. And I think at that point, you could be looking for a new setup or a new pattern. Now, I'm kind of lucky. I had a good friend of mine after we had this gap up on earnings. His name is Slawik. He actually is the day trader who runs our day trading broadcast, you know, helping our community with day trading. He pinged me about 10 minutes before the market closed after the earnings gap and was like, you better be getting into some Apple calls today. And I ended up doing that right after he pinged me. And so what I did was I got into the 205 calls, about 3 weeks of time. I bought them right here at the end of the day after this big earnings gap. And while it may seem like, hey, it's already moved $10 or $11, you know, based on our analysis, it could go a lot higher, and I'm glad my friend reached out and twisted my arm, because what I ended up doing was, again, I bought 3 weeks of time. I got filled for 5 contracts at $1.77 for the 205 calls. I got 5 more a few minutes later at $1.79. So in both of them for under $1.80, $180. The next day, obviously, I got really lucky because we literally went up like $7 or $8. And the way I like to usually manage those kinds of trades is I like to slowly distribute out my contracts as I have profit. So the next day, literally within 24 hours, I sold 3 at 325. I sold 2 more at 355. I sold 2 more at 440. Started to go up a lot. I sold 1 more at 475. This was my best sale right here. Literally right when Apple hit $1 trillion market cap, it was like 207, 208. I sold 1 more at 560. Currently, those options are trading for, I think, about, let's see here. I got 1 left, trading for $493. Again, I paid under 180 for them. I made over 200% in a day. So I owe Slawik a Snickers bar for that one. The other cool thing, besides making a couple 100% in 24 hours, over 1,000 or whatever it ended up being, a couple $1,000. Robinhood has actually now opened up their option trading on desktop for me. So I'm now actually able to buy and sell options on the desktop, which is pretty cool. They just opened that this last week, and here's their option chain. You can buy and sell. These are the August 24s. These are basically the ones that I'm in now, still with only 1 left, but I had 10 of them earlier this week, 493. You basically just click there and you can trade the options now commission free from Robinhood desktop. So that's pretty cool. Okay, a couple other things as far as Apple analysis right now. The MACD is, of course, with this big move up, is now crossed to the bulls. The payday cycle is bullish, and as long as we keep closing at new daily highs with Apple, I think we're probably headed to about 210. Maybe we'll shoot over that to about 212. As far as support goes, we have a couple big areas of support. I think the bottom of the gap, way down here at 197, is a really, really strong support for the stock right now. I also want to let everybody know that this week we have a couple of big announcements coming. I'm going to be finally demoing our brand new platform that we've been working on for about 14 months or so, and it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to let everybody know. It'll probably be on Wednesday during our meetup. We also have a brand new 90-day roadmap that's started, so we have a lot of stuff happening right now. On top of Apple going absolutely awesome to the upside, we have a lot of cool things happening. So I think it's important when you look at a stock that's kind of breaking out like this. Kind of comes back to something I said, in the first couple of minutes of today's video, and that's you can't get too pressed on one idea. Because I kind of came into earnings again with this idea like maybe we're a little bit overbought, maybe a little too far extended. And then when the stock had earnings, I got new information, which was we still have growth. We still have some growth, and next quarter's guidance has actually been increased, which hasn't happened in a while. So when you get new information, you have to reanalyze it, and so this is a good lesson for me and for everybody else that it's really important to do that, and you can see why. Because if I would have continued to stay stubborn and be like, oh no, Apple's topping out, even though my friend pinged me and kind of twisted my arm, I would have missed this opportunity. So it's good to stay flexible and keep an open mind when you get new information. Okay, so for all the members out there, if you're listening in, we've got a really, really big week. So stay tuned this week for more updates from me regarding our brand new platform that we're going to be launching soon. We've already announced it, but we will be launching it soon. And this week, I'm hoping to give everybody a demo probably Wednesday. So stay tuned, everybody. Go ahead and leave a comment right below this video with any aha moments or any questions you have for me about Apple or about the market or trading in general. Happy to help. And I look forward to seeing you this week. On behalf of the entire Wall Street IO team, I wish you good trading and a good day.